I'll go first. Pastor Kim for them.
What'd you bring? Everything they sent you. That's what I'm trying to. Were you guys working? No. Did you do the URA over your head? This was some of the stuff you did when we were checking you out.
Did you get your tickets?
What's nice where
Yeah, I gotta get it. But I need to do that pretty soon.
They called me. I never got it.
Oh, yeah.
so that way I have
I've got several.
Oh,
I had so many.
And then they called me on my phone.
Couldn't get them when you wanted them.
Couldn't get them when I wanted them. They
I need to talk to you about
terrible rest snow and wouldn't restore anything or wouldn't care as long as
Holes all over the place. Summer we do. We tear up something. That last one they did, there was so many holes in the ground. The place where they went across the right of way.
I get some email. I get some.
I couldn't put anything over here.
Yeah, I've got several cowboy jokes.
Still a chunk of plywood over a hole back there, like 2 years later.
But I've been getting it since.
Yeah. So I just called.
My wife and I were driving by,
And I was talking to the judge. That's what
she was looking, she was like,
Put your foot to the floor, let's go.
No, I need to do that. I'll just put it-
because I don't want to have preference because
That switch gear was,
Yeah,
they don't charge me.
that was out there.
yeah,
They went to replace,
where the drum were.
they went to replace it, that switch gear.
where cowboy Joe,
They've taken that fiberglass and cut a hole like this with a gas line.
Mine is ready. And I wanted to move, just anything road. And they said, no. I said,
Really, they let me do that.
right through the bottom.
they ran about
That's
the
awesome.
They took, you know, far up.
4 tickets.
The switch gear's not there, that's why we're moving it over by the church.
Grandfather's mine because I had to have one seat up front.
Oh, yeah.
I told you to sit up here, but you wouldn't.
Anyway, I used to sit up there anyway, I had to move down. I wanted to do anyway.
Well, they were gonna go with the county.
Two together.
Are out there, but I heard what they're.
Here, I don't like aisles.
I better stay with her, I can wait
Oh. So anyway.
Or Mike's coat, yeah.
I got.
Everybody's coat.
I think the dead one's somewhere.
No, it's usually good.
I think
I would go ahead and get them
I got mine.
you know, because all the everything is.
Just after she left, I'm in your journal and see when I see her for a bit. Pretty good.
Hello, everyone. It's a information session for the Black Mountain Phase 2 construction going on in town. It's presented by the town of Wheatland Exponential Engineering Company, the electrical engineering firm that I'm part of, and Electrical Connections, our electrical contractor. So first, I'm going to dive into the history of the project and why we're upgrading that area in particular. This electrical system represented by the map you see here is as it sits today. And I'll let Ken go into the history about the timeline, when it was created, and why it needs the upgrade it needs today.
Well, it was put in like the late 70s when they were putting the power plant in. It was actually built for temporary housing for the power plant workers that were building it. So it was never really built for what it's being used for today. And of course the wire has outlived its life by many years. I think 25 would be safe to say that it's lived longer. And it needs to be replaced. I mean, every time we work out there, we have minor problems that we have to fix, and can't just fix this because we have to fix that also, and things like that happen all the time. So this is why got this started.
So this area, it started with, I don't know if you guys saw that construction going on South Street. That was phase one of the same upgrade. This now area here in town is phase two. And what we intend to do with the system here is A, brand new equipment. B, move everything to the front lot. And what that helps with is ease of access for the workers, able to, any equipment place, it's just right there, pull up to it, pull it out, and put it back. No taking down fences, getting around anyone's backyard. And also, if something happens, it's much more noticeable. Anyone can call in and say, hey, look like something hit it, or this thing looks like it's smoking, which would, low chance that would ever happen, but put a lot more eyes on it just in the day-to-day, as well as for outages, storms and all that. You're already protected because it's underground, of course, but we also optimize the route of the circuits. So just about every area here has two paths for power to come out. So say the box out front, something happened in the storm, needs to take and replace, and we could, instead of routing power through one side of the street, we can come up the other side of the street and get power even faster. So it gives us A and B scenarios and much quicker ways to recover from any outages. And so now we'll go into the questions that we've received for the system as this today. Number one, why does the town need the easement? I know a lot of you have been requesting for an easement, mainly just for the utility access and permission. What is the project benefits to the homeowner? There's A, the increased reliability that I mentioned before. B, shorter downtimes towards any outages, and also just scheduled maintenance. And then also the new and upgraded equipment. Like Ken had mentioned, the stuff was installed around the 70s. The main wire that the circuit is relying on now is directly buried underground. So over the years, I mean, this system has really worked well for as long as it's been in there. But the upgraded system, besides the improved routing, will also have everything installed in conduit and protected. So I know if say a repair had to happen on the system as it sits now for a large length of cable, all that would have to be dug up, pulled out, and then replaced, and that's a lot of land disturbance. Here in the new system, it would all be protected by conduit. So we would just open them each side, pull it through the pipe, and put new stuff back in and terminate it. And that would be as easy as replacement goes. Number three, what if I don't want easement there? Can we put it somewhere else? So reroutes to the design section, since we're using the old placement of the service from your house to where those transformers sit in the back lots now, those won't be touched or replaced. It'll go to where the transformer, that box in the back, sits now. And our hope is they go straight to the street, so it's a straight shot for the new service. And when we have to move it, we've moved a couple for some buildings in the way that don't allow for a straight shot. But the more we have to do that, every installation from the back to the front, we're going completely underground. So we don't have to dig an open trench like when they install water pipes and things of that nature. But what that allows us to do is open up 2 bore pits on either side and just run that underground, put the pipe underground, and pull the wire underground. and that's the disturbance. Those machines, well impressive, can't turn on a 90 underground, so everywhere we make a turn and go along in the back to kind of make a corner, they have to open the bore pit at the street where the main installation is in the back to line up with that shot and down the shot at the end where the service hub. So every part of that turn has to get opened up. But also it comes into a safety issue because as the back has the electrical circuit as it sits today running along it, they need to, for contractor safety and everyone's safety, make sure they don't hit that. So they need to make a couple penetrations just to make sure where the depth of that cable is. So they do that with it's called potholing, and they do it with a backhook. So they use don't drill down or anything. It's just a small pipe. They use water pressure and vacuum to kind of just get a pothole that goes all the way down. They can observe, hey, it's at this distance. So when we go all the way back from pit to pit, they know what depths to hit on their machine, so they can miss all the existing utilities on there. And in addition to the electric, there's also what else is back there?
Yes,
The gas line
telephone,
and
cable
telephone,
TV,
cable TV. So
and your secondary.
and yeah, and then the secondary now. So the less they have to go around and go in that corridor, the better it is for safety, and they don't have to go. And I forget how many, like every other feet, just to make sure the cable doesn't take the electric cable doesn't take a dip more, and then they accidentally end up hitting it, and then we're out for longer.
Probably 4 to 5 feet is what we'd want to see, so we don't hit that high voltage cable. I mean, you got gas, high voltage cable all there together. If we hit any of those, it not only takes that out of your service, you would lose that service, but the danger for the neighborhood, the community. So we want a pothole, get a view of what we're seeing every about 5 feet in that back corridor as we came across there. So
Number 4, will boring kill off my hedges and grass? Like I said, it's just there's 2 bore pits that they'll open at each side to do that. And as far as landscape recovery in the immediate area, I'll let Darren, the contractor, speak to that.
So the disturbance is the bore pits, right? And the potholing that we had to do for existing utilities. The potholes are usually about 6 inches around. Sorry, I'll stand up. The potholes are usually about 6 inches around, and then the depth to find the utility that we would need to find. And then the bore pits could probably be about 3 feet long, a foot wide is what we'll probably do to make sure that we get the depth that we need to right at the beginning. When you're down 3 feet, I can't think of a time when we've ever had anyone lose vegetation or any issues because we're down deep enough that roots that we do hit doesn't really affect, and it'd be major, huge trees. We've ran into huge roots before with no issues, but we're down far enough and the tree is usually healthy enough that it's not an issue. Or shrubs, anything like that. So if it's not in that bore pit on either side, then we should be clear. And then potholing, which is minimally invasive.
So from where if I may, where we've got our existing boxes in the alley, we'll call it right now, in between our fences, you're going to come directly out of that and go.
The machine will actually sit at the road and go in and come up into basically as close as we can get right at that transformer.
So if you have a house in the garage sitting here, how are we going to dig not our bore pit, but our pit that we're going to tie into?
So the bore pit on the front or on the back side?
On the back side.
On the back side. We've looked at it. There might be a couple places where my guys would have to hand dig, and so we planned on that in a few places. The goal is if we can access it, to get our back trailer back in there and use that. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier for everyone. Basically, we suck the dirt out. We replace it with new dirt back in. It's a very clean. For their shoveling, you get the shovel scraps out everywhere, things like that. It's a really clean process. That's why we like to do it. And so that would be our primary goal, is if we can. There's a lot of areas in your guys' neighborhood where we have access from back sides or vacant lots, things like that. And so we obviously are going to work with you guys the best we can minimize any impact for you guys. And so that would be hand dig if we have to, so.
So are you gonna have a box out on the street and then go back to the box in the back?
Exactly.
Is that what it's gonna?
Yep.
Um,
So the transformer that's in your back, will come to the front.
You're just gonna try to come straight off of the ones that are
Yes,
there
that's-
now?
That's the goal. So that's the primary goal. Like we said, and there are a couple places we already know where we have to go along that horizontally with that corridor in the back in the alley area. But like we said, that's where we got the high risk. We have the gasoline back there, or I'm sorry, the gas. And we have the existing electrical back there both. And so cable, I'm not too worried about any of those, but you guys mind if there's a good game going on or something. But those are the ones I'm not too, but those two are extremely scary.
So the new transformers are gonna be sitting in our front yard, basically.
But the old one will still be back in the back?
It'll be a ground box. That old transformer is being removed.
Be a junction box.
So what size secondary are you gonna run?
It depends on the service size. There was a couple areas where we were able to put the service together and then do it based on transformer size. But I mean, this is an early copy when we first got contractor pricing, but I think the largest was a couple 350s.
A lot of them
And
are 350s.
And it just depends on, we try to make considerations for a voltage drop and the transformer load size per site. So it varies what the new service will be. Number 5, risk to the sprinkler system. I refer to the previous answer. This one, can I build over the easement, for example, a lawn shed? I'll look at the attorney for this, and I believe the answer is, well, you can.
Here's there are places in Wheatland where they have fences on easements. You get permission to build them with the understanding that if we have to come in there, you move them and stuff like that. You take that risk, but we try to accommodate, especially fences, because those are things that are easily moved, or depending on the fences we take them out in sections and take care of them. I don't know about what kind of shed you're going to build there, but honestly, if it's in conduit, I don't see them tearing the shed down because they're just going to pull the wires out and redo it. So I don't see them digging up those easements. If it was in my neighborhood, I don't have conduit, and they would have to dig up. I built, and the neighbors, and we actually have where our easements are. We have this 10-foot gate, because we knew where that easement was, so we didn't build over it. This is different because now you'll have that conduit where they'll just pull it. So I think you could come to the Board of Adjustment. I think that's where you go to get permission to build over that, and they would take into account, it's conduit, and here's what we would do, but it makes it a lot easier with the idea of conduit. I'm sure they don't want you to dig down to the conduit, but I mean, if it's just a shed, utility shed, you're just gonna probably put it on a pad and go from there.
What do we do for this?
I'm sorry.
What do we do for easements? Like when you move the transformer out front, you gotta go secondary back to the.
Well, that's what I think they were working on, was gathering easements from everybody, and I think they were doing that, and then some people had some questions, and I think it got to this point. They just said, let's have a meeting and try to get it. There are some places we might not need easements. I don't know where all that is at from the standpoint of that, but that they were working on some of them. Some people have already signed easements, but there was enough questions that they thought it would be best if we had an informational meeting.
There's an easement on the south side of our house, but the only thing in the way is the fence. There's nothing there. It can't be moved.
Right. So as a practical matter, I think after this, I think Amy and everybody will work on rounding out all the easements, but I know some have been signed.
We have about.
Half of it. But there was enough questions that I think everybody thought they needed to have an informational meeting for those people that had to sign or some of them.
So when you move that box,
Ask them.
when you move that box,
Yes.
You own two lots,
when
we
you
want
move
two
that
easements
box,
on
this
east
electrical
and
box,
west.
this electrical box, when you move it out there, I don't have a choice
Between
of
them,
where you're
but
gonna put
I
it.
don't know.
You're just gonna go straight out to
No way
my
I'm gonna
front
buy it.
yard where I need to park the car.
We,
Whether I have, I
Actually,
don't
it's,
have any choice of where you put this, right?
no, we do not put it in driveways.
It's not a paved driveway. I have lock on it and I need to park there.
Okay, leave your information with, Ken and we'll look on that site specific.
Yeah, you need to come over to my house and we can look this over.
Okay.
have you received an easement?
No.
Yeah, well, that's probably why, because they're probably not going through there.
They're not
That'll
gonna
be
do all that.
perfect.
Not
For you, not for someone else.
Don't take that as gospel, though. Don't take that as gospel.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's, some of you may have not been contacted just because they're not going right there and there, so.
Okay.
Would that,
Yeah, and that's,
would that have been through writing or in a letter, or would someone actually come to your house?
I think they're aiming,
Documents.
They've all been sent out certified letters.
so if you haven't gotten a letter on an easement,
To your point, there are a few that are being adjusted.
yeah, so.
For the most part, that's been perfect.
So, and I'm not saying you shouldn't worry, but some of it.
Oh, I will still worry until I know.
Yeah. But I mean, if you haven't gotten it, I think it's probably because you're not gonna go down.
Oh,
down.
okay.
So we're new homeowners to the area. When were those certified letters sent out?
So, within the last few I just did last week. But for the most part, most of them were sent out in January and February. So if, I mean, I can always look and see, if you give me the address and run and check and see if you're on there.
2151, 20.
Where's the lives?
So would you say 21 what? 2151, 21st? If you sent it out in January, we probably didn't get it.
so I'll, I guess bring it back, we got,
It's not really an easement, I think ours is an access.
Probably the same thing.
And we parked motor home there, so.
But I mean, if they put it underneath there and it's in conduit, it won't affect our life.
But we don't want the box where we can't back
We don't
in.
want the box,
I-
but the box is kind of south of us anyway.
No, next to it.
All the boring tunnels will be backed out, is that correct? Not dug?
Sorry, what was that?
All the boring boxes that you're going to put in are being backed out, not.
That's the goal. The more we can back, the better. And
yeah, if we can fit a truck in there, then.
What happens to like sprinkler systems that you're backing over a truck across sprinkler systems?
they'll all be repaired. That's one reason why we don't want to dig either. Back doesn't affect any underground piping, things like that.
On that same note, I was noticing on when it's talking about remediation and restoration, that it said, some will be done within like a year, but if something is damaged, wouldn't, it would be nice, like, just to know, have a definite date on there instead of, oh, it will be done 20 years from now.
Well, it should be done right away.
If it's not done real quickly, I'll be all over him.
No, it'll be done. It's warranted for a year, so it's warranted for a year. So if you come back a year later, after a snow season, and you got something sank or something, then we'll fix that as well. So
If you have animals such as pets,
Okay,
dogs,
I have witnesses.
if you have your animals in the backyard and they're running, and I don't mean cows and sheep,
You
I'm
have to
talking
remember,
dogs.
I interject. The contractor may be gone, the engineer may be gone, but the town's gonna be here and you know where the town is at to help us get it fixed.
We know where you live. Yep.
I don't live there anymore.
I'm probably gonna have to tear part of my fence out.
We'll find
what we're planning on doing is having like an orange snow fence to do things
Some
like,
kind of a barrier.
so that'll be.
If I can pull it back from the attorney's response, like we said, it'd be, 2 bore pits, one in front, one in back. A conduit would be placed there, so shed, other building obstruction gets in the way. It's already a low chance something will have to happen because it's underground, so storms and all that, it can weather all that. A lower chance that if something happens and it needs to be repaired, it causes a major disturbance because that conduit will be there, just pull the cable out, put a new cable in, reconnect it, done. So,
My other main concern is that, you know, any boxes, junction boxes, et cetera, that are behind our house, are behind our house. They're not anywhere close to a straight line from the street out to
right.
any of the.
Some of those boxes you're talking about are phone, cable TV, they're not all ours.
So yeah, some of those have had to be reround the corner for that access if we didn't put it in front of any driveways. And while this is the early version of the map, and we've done shifting since then, it's still the back lots. It's already described here what side of the street it's being pulled to on each street. So you may have something in your back lot, it might not even be going that way. It may be going on the other side.
John, can you put that map back
Put it over on the
As you're
school.
talking
Yeah. So yeah, like on the rear, if I could look at this for reference, like the back lots between 21st and 22nd, those are being pulled west towards 22nd. And so on 22nd and 23rd, the back lots between those are being pulled through to 23rd. And then 24th is going to get on both sides the back lots pulled towards it, so that at the south end of 24th, the northern South Street project will go down 24th and recombine at the south end of 24th to continue along to West Basin Street. And what that does is give the 24th, 23rd, and 22nd Street, those circuits, those can be refed from the north and come back. Those can be refed from the east and come back. Or for the future, some projects we pre-engineering, but will come from south. Those can get extra feeds down from the south. So there'll be more than a couple ways to recover it. So any places where it was just one shot before, and someone was at the end of the line, there's now 3 ways to turn you back on.
So there won't be any boxes on 21st Street, new boxes, is that what you're saying?
Along 21st, there will be no new boxes.
And all that'll go, in our alley will all go west.
West towards 22nd, correct.
Now, while you're doing this, are you gonna have a loop
Don't
feed?
worry about my dog.
So,
Two-way feed?
We're gonna be feeding from one way while we're shutting the old stuff off and feeding from it, and then feeding the
I
new
mean,
stuff.
when you're all said and done, are you gonna have a
Oh,
two-way
yeah.
feed?
yes.
We'll have 3 ways some ways.
Three-way feed?
3 ways some
From
ways.
the old transformer that you got now originally, are you're gonna leave it old from there to the shut off to each house then?
So-
Or are you replacing that?
Yes, because that is, that then would be the responsibility of the homeowner. You're talking about like your weatherhead or your meter at your house.
Well, I know that transformer to my house goes from the transformer, it goes down a ways and then there's the shut off.
A junction box.
Huh?
Junction box.
To my junction box, is, from there to there is not gonna get replaced, it is.
Will not.
No, you're right.
So that's another deal, that's still gonna be old wire in there.
Right.
Hey Ken, I apologize if you answered this question already, but advance notice is probably gonna be given, my wife works from
Yeah.
home.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's down the line, yeah.
So, next one, what is the impact to my front yard and reclamation? That one kind of jumbled in with the other.
Any questions or concerns there on reclamation, anything there? Okay.
This one is, it just says, I don't want to have to look at it. The new equipment will be a small box at most, similar in size to, there's one installed that if someone wants to look at it, at the transformer directly across from South Street from Wheatland RA's flagpole behind 2154 Johnson Street. And here's one of,
Here's, you guys can pass around this little.
That's gonna be in the front yard.
Can we decorate it?
Can you paint it?
I've seen them wrapped, I've seen them also. Oh, no, like wrapped as art.
I know.
Probably, yeah.
Know what they look like.
I almost painted.
So, next one says, will the back line be removed? The back line will be de-energized and abandoned, so it won't be live or anything anymore. These guys will check it out from every angle, but yeah, it'll be in there and turned off. So, I'm there. There'll still be gas down there. So, yes, call before you dig. Number 10, warranty or guarantee. That these terms are defined in the contract that the contractor has made with the city. The contractor is licensed in the state of Wyoming and is fully bonded for the work and is required to repair any defective equipment or workmanship for 1 year after completion of the project. And to add on to those previous questions, in the contract, I believe, once noticed and the city has notified the contractor, they do have within 30 days, I believe, to remediate any of those concerns. Number 11, how will the contractors coordinate with the homeowners? I'm going to let's only parts first. And so contact prior to outages and any earthwork, and notices when the power is being switched over. And outages will be designed to have minimal impact on the house power. So a flyer or a door visit upon a startup of the project 1 to 2 weeks prior to construction on the property, and then a flyer or door visit 48 to 72 hours before the actual outage that will turn off your specific service will take place.
If you guys, so my guys will definitely do all of that. They'll be there. They'll be in your community. If you have any questions, find someone and ask them. If they can't answer your question, they'll direct you to someone that can. We definitely, they want to be involved. If we don't want to be enemies here. We work together to get this project done the best for everyone involved. And so, if you have any questions or concerns, but they'll definitely notify you within 72 hours. If you have issues, most likely we'll be able to move it without concern. If it's really extreme, that might cause an issue. But if it's not an extreme change that you're asking for, can you push it back a day or two? That probably won't be an issue. We'll probably be able to.
What's the length of time that the outage would be for a homeowner, approximately?
I would say 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
So next one is, will I need to reconnect the new line to my house? The line directly to your house should not be disturbed. So like you mentioned before, from where the current box or transformer sits now to your house will not be disturbed in this construction. This one, how will this project help with future upgrades? So any future upgrades after this project should only require replacing transformers on the same pad or pulling larger cable and installed underground conduit. So this would occur like I mentioned, for 1970s to today, hopefully another 50 years, the last era. But the biggest reason we find to change cable underground or replace conduits is people simply need a bigger service. You put shop, say I need, such and such that I'm going to install in my house. I need the service bigger. If it's big enough that the size of transformer you have would require the next step up, then that's where they'll take the transformer off, replace, run new cable that can service that transformer size fully. And then number 14, can the school be done in July or when the school isn't being utilized? So these guys are pretty flexible. They can work with the owner on weeknights, weekends, or other times to help minimize the impact. Equipment near the school can be installed ahead of time, and then the power source will just be switched over while the school is not in session. We'll schedule a majority of the work to be done during the week, but allow for certain type of sensitive areas to be performed on a Saturday if needed, but not on Sunday. Say during church, or if there's major weekend events or festival in town, we'll just find some other time to switch it over.
Also remember, when we do a shutdown, it's not just you. You have 3 neighbors that are going to be shut down at the same time. So that might be something to consider as well. It's a whole square of houses there that will come down with that shutdown. So so it's not just you and your house. It's going to be your neighbors as well that'll be done shut down at the same time.
What size primary cable you putting in for it?
When is this project supposed to begin and end?
Last year it was supposed to begin.
This project, just based on the amount of materials, the pipe, the wire, the transformers has been hit a lot by the supply chain issues. So there was a 6-month adder to the transformers. I believe the wire gets here around May, which it was the original construction deadline. So supply issues have affected this project, especially this project of this scale, a lot. But that is the end of the prepared questions. So yeah, if you guys have more questions.
So to answer
after
your
that.
question, they won't start until the latter part of May.
Latter part of May, and then I'd say 2 months, but I'm probably gonna say 3, just to stretch it out. So
It'll be the summer then.
It'll be the summer.
Yeah, what?
Are the product here, or we have?
No, not all of them. Some of them will be here till May. That's why we're waiting.
It's been on our,
Good old COVID.
Russia.
Killed this country.
A bunch of different things, right? So.
Okay, I've got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
We live on West Basin Street
Mhm.
and own 2 lots.
Yep.
And we got an easement on the south side, or on the north side.
Mhm.
Easement. And now they want easements on both the east and west lots. I got 2 of them here. Why do we have to have easements on both ends, on the east and the west side of our properties? Just because we have the 2 lots. And if we, and then the second part of the question is, what happens if I don't sign it?
Where on what station are you, or is it just a?
He's where that line we moved by that garage and
Let's see.
comes up and goes left and right both.
I made a difference.
You must be right in.
Long meeting.
Lot 23 and lot 22.
Yeah.
Here.
Shall we all get up?
And we've already got an easement back here.
They must have scooted it over.
Where you want this? All around.
You own 21 through 20?
No, 22 and 23.
I will look at the.
Look this one out.
We scooted it on this side. You should
See, yeah.
5 foot. He's got an easement here. He would forego that and move it over to this side. Then we could run, and there wouldn't be going any buildings or anything right down there. And this is right underneath the house.
Not sure why it has to.
On our box.
Or no.
Whatever you call it.
See, one of those is revision. Yeah. One of those are revision. I think it might be.
One of them isn't even, it just looks like a copy of
Yeah, was this?
Could I make a suggestion? I think if you met with Ken, Amy, they could sit down and explain what you're doing, what your concerns are. But if we get everybody, we'd be here till midnight on every individual one. But that's why they were trying to be. So,
I'm not gonna sign it with these words right now.
well, I understand that, Ken, thoroughly. And you asked another question. If you don't sign it, then we have other processes.
So this.
But it'd be condemnation. So it'd be what do you have to do with it? I'm just telling you. You asked the question. I'm just telling you.
Condemnation.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I said if you didn't want to sign it, but you don't know what they want to do.
So only this is pertaining to this project. I did not create part of this.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I haven't seen this easement. He says he's getting 2. Only this is pertaining to this project. This one, I don't know.
here.
we're hoping.
But I think it's easier if we do it within individuals, we're not talking about.
Yeah, he's saying getting 2 weeks.
Just hang on, don't leave the meeting.
That's ours. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. They were.
We didn't need one. You're not gonna do that. Let's just copy them one.
Which one's yours?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Which one's yours?
Which one's mine? Mine is.
Why didn't you get it?
You won't notice. You won't notice. You won't notice this at all.
Lights will go out.
Your lights will go out.
Yeah. These pictures go out. Anything yet? No. We might be by May. Yeah. A lot of like looking to see. It would be nice. We're still in the deconstruction stage. We're tearing down. Starting over.
Okay.
No, I bet it was.
Something else I need.
Because she was sending them out.
That's what I thought.
Now they're on question. Here, I don't have any lines on my property. That's we'll be here all night.
Is there, I guess, any other general questions that I can get to respond to? Or do you want the city got to respond to?
Like, that's a question.
Yes, sir.
Here is an except I may ask twice.
Okay.
Electrical basin shoot, and I think there's 4 easements, maybe 5 coming out there, one on me. Are you gonna bore down about 3 feet? Is that what I'm hearing?
More depth will be 3 feet,
Are you
yep.
coming up at the end of every easement and from the box there?
The box that is currently in the back will be
Oh,
removed.
no, the ones in the front. I know where you're going in the back.
Okay.
Are you coming up at the front of every easement with your door and going again and bore up, or are you going one straight line?
So each one, so
Where you're talking about, they're wanting to go between your garage and that fence. Bore. But when they get in the back, they're gonna split and go two different transformers back there. One's behind Woody's, and the other one's over there on your side.
Oh, okay. But I'm talking in front.
And in the front will be that
Coming
one.
up the street with a bore, right?
Yeah.
And are you coming up at the front of every easement? Or are you boring and then drill down to it? You understand what I'm asking?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you're saying, are we just going to bore all the way across and then pothole and bring it up? It depends on distances, things like that. We can do about 500 feet well and control it. More than that, it gets a little weird. So if there's, a Basin Street, I don't know footages on that, but so we might do that where we just come in and where we put our bore pit anyways would be where the new transformer is going to sit. So.
Question I've already got an easement between, I've got 2 lots of easement down one side of one. To the line, I understand you're gonna abandon that line.
Right.
Is that easement going away?
Yes, that was part of it, yeah. Amy was working on that, yeah, we're gonna, as soon as the new stuff is put in and we abandon the old, we're gonna jerk that street light out of there and move it over there by the new transformer, and that other stuff will be abandoned.
For the main line.
Street light.
Kind of be
Yeah,
about
that's where that primary runs through
sidewalk
there,
is.
crosses the street.
The right of way that the city ownership is, I forget where that street runs. Center of the road,
Yeah.
It's a couple feet behind where the sidewalk is now.
Right. 6 feet after the side. So
That's
that's where you're gonna run the main line.
That's where the.
No, it's not, it's connected in the back.
Okay,
So it's gonna stay where it's at.
There could be
All been out of this transformer.
where you can go under. I never mind. I think.
So, yeah, it's,
Yeah,
we'll try to go.
it's not in the street, it's gonna be in the yard, but in the.
And just,
No, I'm satisfied with it.
underground as much as
On a
possible.
darn box.
Underground.
more expensive to repair all that, so.
But we're not.
So any other,
I know where
any
you
other
live.
questions? Don't be shy.
Free drinks and the moves.
That's it. Anyone who needs to leave their information, questions, or some that will, stay behind, we can talk to them in the projects. I'll turn it over to me to close it out.
Find it. Thank you all for coming, and if you have questions, call town hall, call Amy, call Continue, call myself, and we'll do what we can. Okay?